So today we are going to look on the Servlet. The content of the day, we are going to describe the Servlet, and we see the architecture of the Servlet, and look at the tools which are going to help us to develop our Servlet, and we learn one example of the Servlet. So the Servlet is a technology which is used to create the web application. Means is an API. It's a application programming interface that provides many interfaces and classes, including the documentation. Means the servlet is an interface that must be implemented for creating any servlet. Means the servlet is a web component that is deployed on the server to create a dynamic web page. So in simple word, a servlet is a technology that can help us to create a web application. If you remember, we have seen what is the web application in the first tutorial. And for the servlet architecture, as you see here, we have the web browser, which is going to help for learning a web application, and we have the HTTP server, and we have the servlet program, and here we have the database. If you see here, this servlet is going to act as the middle layer between the HTTP server and the database. Means the user will fetch the data here from the web browser, so by typing in the URL of the web browser, then the request will go to the HTTP. Means if you have remembered the process how the client requests the data from the web server, it means the client will send the HTTP request to the HTTP server. So then the HTTP server will send also those data to the servlet program. Then the servlet program will be also going to fetch the data in the database. Once it finds the data in the database, it should provide the answer to the client here in the web browser. That is how the servlet architecture is going to work. If you remember, we have seen that the servlet is the web application that helps us to run or to create a web application. So in simple word, that is how the servlet architecture is being designed. And when you are going to learn a servlet or to use a servlet, so those are some tools that you need. We need a GDK for people who is familiar with the Java. The GDK is the Java Development Kit. This GDK helps us to learn the Java code. And for the second one, the server here, this server, Apache Tomcat, and you can also use the Glassfish. But for us, most of the time we use this Apache Tomcat. This server is what we use, and there is some application that we should use, either Eclipse or NetBeans, but for beginners I could recommend you to use this Eclipse IDE. It is easily, and also we'll need a web browser. We can use the internal web browser for the Eclipse, also can use those external, I guess you know, the Firefox, Google Chrome, Microsoft Edge. Those are tools that we need to learn our servlet file. Let us do the first program so that you see how this servlet is going to work. So we need to open our Eclipse. So this Eclipse is like a text editor which is going to help to learn our servlet file. It takes sometimes to be open. We should wait and see. But remember, for what we have said that the servlet is a technology that helps us to design the web application. Means for us, we are going to create a web application. So let's switch for our workspace. Means the workspace, it's like a directory that you store all files that you are going to work on your Eclipse. So let us create our workspace. Let us put here in iTech and let us make a new folder and we call it MITech Servlet. That's our workspace. We call it MITech Servlet 1 and we launch. Is going to start our new workspace. We are going to work in a workspace called MITech Servlet. Means it's going to switch from the previous workspace and it's open up in a new workspace. So it takes a long time, but not much time then. So it's open. Then we are going to set to configure the path and server. So as you see, it is brown. We are going to configure the server. So here you click and you find the server. If you remember the server we say that we use the Tomcat. For me, I have the Tomcat version 9, but you can find also those versions either 8 or 7, but now the current is 9. Then here you browse the directory which contain your server. Mine it is saved to the D in soft, and find the file called Tomcat is here. Then you select the Tomcat. What I need this one, and I press OK, next, and finish. Now our server is created. Then what we need here is to create a project. For creating the project here, we create a dynamic web project. Then you should set the name. You can set anyone you need. Let's call it first program. Press next. Next. You should generate the web.xml, then finish. So after creating the project, you will find here in the project explorer, then you expand it. Inside the first project there is deployment description. We have Java XWS web service. So what we need, it is here in the Java resource. In Java resources is where our servlet files are going to be saved. And for other files like HTML and JSP file we will use in the next tutorials also will be stored in the web content. So what we need here, we need now to create the servlet file. So we come on the web, on the project name, then you click right click new, and you come to the servlet. So here they asked you to put the package, Java package. Let's call it MITech, and we need to create the class. The class, we should start with the capital letter. Let's call it first. Let's call it hello world. Hello world. Next, and I need to change here. So here what we doesn't need, it is this. We don't need the constructor from the superclass, and no need of using this do post. What we need, we are going to use do get. We will see the difference between do get and do post in the next tutorial. So you click finish. After you finish, your file will be shown here. So here you see this is the package called MITech. Those are some packages that have been imported here, the java.io IO exception. And what we need here, we need this method called doGet. Here is where we are going to learn our servlet file. So what we need here, we need to print hello world. There is two ways that you can use to print this hello world. The first one, you can say that print writer. Here we are going to create the object that is going to help us to print out any text. So hello world, then you create the object. Let's call it out. You can give another name that you want. Echo is equal to what? Is equal to response dot get writer. So this is what we want. Then after creating here this, there is an error that showing up to this print writer. They are invoking us to import the print writer. So you click import, so it will show up here. Then the error is being removed. What we need here, we need to print by saying out dot print. So we put the quotation and say hello world, and you put the semicolon. So then you save. After save, what you should do, you should come here and learn, press here, and they choose you to select the server. Already the server is here, it is Tomcat by default, but if it is the first time, you will be come to define a new server by pressing here. But because we have already set the server, what we need it is to next and finish. So we should wait our server to start and run our program called hello world. So it take a time to start the server. So this is the first method okay, as you see here in the internal browser of the Eclipse, this is our hello world that we have right here in this code. So another way of printing, let's printing another line. This is the first method. Here the method here, you create the object that will help you to print. But another way for doing this, you can say response dot get writer dot print. Then you write any sentence that you want to print. You can write, this is my first Servlet program. So you can put here the break line BR. Don't think so. You can come up and refresh here. So it is going to start to being started, the server. Wait a bit. If not, you can come back on your file, then you learn before as the way we do. You can come up and learn it again. Press finish. So restart the server. Okay. So this is our sentence, hello world. Another one was, this is my first Servlet program. So that is the way we use it to use a Servlet. So in next tutorial we are going to look what is the difference between doGet method and doPost method, and after look it we will see again what is the HTTP servlet request and HTTP servlet response. So the difference between those two arguments that passed in this doGet method. So thank you for watching us.